DJ Ted and microphones. Doop, doop, doop,
Okay, I'm done.
You done? Have you got that all out of your system?
No, not even close. Not even close.
Right, let's get on with this before I need a poo. Let's try and find the jingle and play that right now.
Good plan.
Dun 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 dun.
Quack, quack.
Quack quack. Oh dear, oh dear. So welcome back. Hey CJ.
Hey.
All I can say to you, well, I can say lots of things to you, but one of the things I'm going to say to you is Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. 2024.
Yep.
It's going to be awesome.
It is going to be awesome. And it's already started because this is going out on the 2nd of January,
Live.
2024. Live straight into your ears. Hot off the heels of the Christmas special, which I hope everybody's listened to and watched, which was an absolute masterpiece. If ever I've seen production value, it was not for that hour and a bit.
Hey, right, hang on now. So, because we had some challenges with getting the video out.
That's because we're very challenging.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, so the way it was cut together, and obviously all credit goes to you. The way you edited it, cut it together, and presented it. You taught well. You did teach me a lot about editing video, and it's really weird how I just never thought about doing using that style that you've used with the different layers and nesting and all this stuff. It's like when I'm creating video, I just throw everything in, cut it to what I want, and just leave it as that. And obviously put in anything else that I want to put in. But
whereas I make a tragic mess with what did I describe it as? Skyscrapers of different layers.
Yeah,
which is enough to even give your computer setup an absolute nightmare when it comes to exporting.
Generally thought my computer was going to blow up at some point trying to export that. It was so strained. I was like, oh my god.
So to hell with video. It's the Tuesday show. No, not episode. Series 5. Season 5.
Season 5. Yeah.
Pick whatever you want to call it. Season or series number 5 of the Tuesday show. Audio.
We're back to basics.
We're back to basics.
We are back to the basics. Just with new toys.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've both got enough going on the video.
Yep, I agree.
So here we are, back to basics, and I'm pleased to say back to doing the old spinning of the decks.
Spinning discs, yeah.
Spinning your discs.
Do you remember Spinner Disc, that shop in Northampton?
No.
Oh, I guess you're probably never part of that scene.
I was never part of that scene.
No, it was very much.
What kind of scene are we talking about?
It was very much like a
cruising scene of Northampton.
Skaters and that kind of crowd. I guess what will now be described as emos.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we called them grebos when I was in school. I don't know if that's still a thing or whether it's even culturally appropriate. I have no idea.
I think they're all called non-binaries now.
Yeah. Right.
So what was your skater place called? What was it called again?
It was called Spinner Disc, and you could go in there and you could buy LPs, CDs of all sorts of music, and it wasn't just limited to like punk or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was all sorts of music, but there was merchandise in there as well, and it was like saying where all the skater kids used to hang out after school, and at the weekends they'd just hang outside Spinner Disc, smoking their funny tobacco and all that stuff. So, but yeah, that's right. You said spinning the old decks, and I went spinning the old discs, and it just reminded me of the old shop Spinner Disc. It was good if you're into that kind of crowd.
The good old days. Not my scene, but I tell you what is my scene. My scene is the Cranberry Merchants, who we've played before many moons ago.
Because we haven't had enough cranberry since Christmas, right?
Exactly. A nice little segue from our cranberry sauce to our cranberry merchants, who will be having a nice little break now for a few months before the Thanksgiving season, I presume.
Yeah,
That's
I
when
guess
they'll
so,
get
yeah.
to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Or
see where I'm
any-
going with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Or anytime somebody fancies a bacon and brie sandwich or something, they'll throw some, or just brie in general, they'll throw cranberry sauce on there
Yeah.
because people are weird.
Yeah,
don't
no, I think that would. Anyway, let's not talk about food yet.
No.
Let's listen to the Cranberry Merchants with a song called "Brand New" for a brand new year. It's called "A Brand New Day."
I was going to say that. Brand new day for a brand new year. Let's go.
Spin it.
Time to go line, unravel the threads. I'm hanging by, chewing through hoops, checking around, catch 22s, bringing me down. I'm waking free, and it's a brand new day. Waking free, and it's a brand new day. Digging my heels, ditching the past, shining my light, tripping fantastic. Nobody else will do it for me. Seizing the day and my destiny. I'm breaking free, and it's a brand new day. It's on me. And it's a brand new day. Now is the time, the wire is live, striking the chord, turn up the mic, right my lines, right my beat, rise like the sun, doing what's right for me, and it's a brand new day, just when we see another brand new day.
Ta-da!
Crash cymbals.
Crash, bash, wallop. Thank you very much, madam. Have a banana.
Yes.
And and that was brand new day, bringing in the brand new year. Are you feeling enthusiastic about 2024? CJ?
I am.
Are you?
I am feeling enthusiastic about 2024.
Will it be your year?
Of course, because that's what everyone says. It's new year, new me. Yay! It's a new year. It's
You
my
go, girl.
year.
You go,
Yeah,
girl.
exactly. Girl power.
Yes,
etc.
queen.
Yes, queen. Now, hang on a second. So it's sad news. Have you ever watched the TV show Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yes, I have.
So the guy who plays Captain Holt, he passed away a couple of months ago. Last month. Yeah, I think it was last month.
Yeah.
He passed away, and yeah, it was very sad news when I heard that. I mean, I'm not so sad to me because I don't know the guy.
Yeah.
Not so sad to me that I started crying and laying flowers everywhere.
No.
He wasn't Princess Diana after all.
Do you know the name of the actor?
Andre Braugher.
Okay.
So you saying "Yes, Queen" just reminds me of one of my favorite Captain Holt moments, where they're arguing. Him and Terry Crews are arguing about who's going to drive a motorcycle for one of their colleagues who's in prison, and basically Captain Holt basically pulls the gay card, and Terry Crews is like, are you seriously pulling the gay card on me right now? And he just says, "Yes, Queen." Throws the keys back at him and snaps his fingers, and I'm like, it's just my favorite Holt moment ever. It's just so good. But yeah, anyway, so that's why I interrupted you there after the Yes Queen.
Yeah. Also, yes, indeed, sad times. I think it calls for rewatching. Actually,
Absolutely.
I can quite happily go from episode 1.
Oh yeah. Season 8 wasn't great, but there was definitely that feeling on the show that everything was wrapping up. It was obviously quite terrible times for there's a say terrible times for the police. That's not the right thing to say. It's clearly there was a lot of tension between the police and the public following some of the things that were going on.
Events.
Events that were happening. We don't need to rehash all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And you could just watching it, you could almost feel the strain of it. It was like they were going, we're going to do this because we have to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was still a good season.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. 13 episodes. Yeah, 13 episodes. But no, I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's one of my top favorite shows.
Yeah.
My top 5 shows. And but yeah, because I watched it, I did basically like a whole watch throughout like October, or November or whenever it was, and then literally 2 weeks later, we heard that Andre Braugher passed away, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to watch it again. Never mind. What a shame.
So apart from watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine yet again, what are your plans for 2024? Sorry, 2024. How many times are we going to do this? This is one of my New Year's resolutions, is to start expressing the year in a sensible way. That being 2024 and so on.
I mean, I guess 2024 is the correct way of saying it. But it's because
as a number, yes, but
yeah, because nobody ever said it's the year 1999. Did they? They said it's 1999.
Of course they did. Well, we were so used to it, and then you're casually getting on with your life. 1983, 1984, 1997, 1999, and all of those, and then all of a sudden, life or chronology comes and kicks you in the arse with the year 2000.
Yeah, and then you go 2000, 2001, because you don't say 2001, 2002. It was 2001.
Well, you'd sound a fool, wouldn't you?
Exactly. So
you'd be crazy, man.
But we've had 10 years of saying 2000 and something.
Yeah.
And then we get to 2010, and some people switch over to 2010, 2011. Yeah, I think it took me a little while to change over to 20 something. It's just because that was what I was used to at that point. It's 2010, 2011, 2012. And then maybe it was like around 2015, or 2014, I made the switch. Maybe it was when we got to the teens. That's when I flipped mine over. I was like 2012. And then it was 2013 sounded too syllable-y, so I just went 2013.
Yeah. Have you ever had that thing where you're giving somebody your phone number and they read it back to you in a absolutely unbelievably weird way because they do it slightly different to the way you do it?
I'm sure we've had this conversation before.
I'm sure we probably have.
And yes, absolutely. Because you're like, yes, my number is 01234 567 890, and they go, so your number is 01234567890, and you're like, and you just You're almost like your head explodes because you can't figure out what they just said. And no, that's not what I said.
Well, they
You
go
know?
completely off the track and go, so your number is 0795 5,363 and 75 Z. What?
Yes, dead. What the one that always used to get me, and I have done it a couple of times myself. It's when 0 and O become interchangeable, and double numbers also become interchangeable. So you'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah, my number is 01123 447 600, and you're like, what? Can you just pick one?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but I have to say, I've got to say, I do that, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm not sure why I do it. I know, because they all start with 0.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't seem quite right to start with 0.
No.
So I'll start with O, and then when the 0, I'll say 0.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, yes, because every phone number in the UK starts with a 0. Every
Yeah.
single one of them starts with a 0. We don't know why. We might as well just drop it. Just get rid of it. Get rid of the 0. Why does it even exist? What's
I
the
don't
point?
know. Yeah.
Because
Is it-
if you
Oh,
dial us
yeah.
internationally, you drop the 0. It becomes, plus 44, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's no 0 there. So just drop it. Why is it even a thing? Like in America, they don't have that.
Maybe it was just somebody was asked their number, and
they went, 2,
Oh.
3, 4.
Yeah.
But it's like the old. It reminds me of Dad's Army, where they can't remember the exact scene, but there's this whole thing where Captain Mannering's giving out the number, and he says, and the number is Walmington-on-Sea 333. There's no zeros in there. I nearly said O's then. There's no zeros in there.
Well, that's right. But the dialing code for Walmington would probably have a 0 at the beginning.
Right.
I don't know. Different. It might have been different in the 1940s, but certainly for as long as I've been alive, there's always been a 0. And then the big change happened when we sort of, and I can't even remember why, ended up having to put a 1 in it. So then everything went from O a number to 01 a number.
I remember seeing the adverts for the changeover from British Telecom, and it had literally been like, starting from whatever date it was, all telephone numbers starting O will now start 01. And again, everyone's kind of scratching their heads, going, "But why?" And then they did a thing where, because I was living in London at the time, so our telephone number started, it was 081, and then it went to 0181. And then after the further change happened later on down the line, where London specifically moved away from 01 to 02, our number changed to 0208. And it was, and again, so there you go. It was like, some people would say 0208, some people say 0208, because now 0203 exists. It has done for a little while. But yeah, it's just so London, it seems to be like the greater London area and the city now have 02 phone numbers. But then you also get the free phones of 03 and 08. So that's, I guess that was to kind of make way for those. And then, of course, mobile phones starting 07.
Yeah.
So I guess the whole changeover from O and the number to 01 and then the number was to make room for all of that.
And also how O being the sort of standard, as you say, why don't we just get rid of it? Because everything starts with an O. But O being the standard, it would be weird to start it with 0. So therefore, coming back to me quoting my number, whereas 0 seems to make more sense when you're trying to get your message across, because it sounds a bit more phonetic, doesn't it? 0, oh yes, that makes more sense than 3 that rhymes with P, or something else. You know what 0 is. So
O's.
Yeah. So I feel
four candles.
Four candles. You can see how treacherous these things can be, particularly if that conversation's happening over the phone.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And actually, I think I might have just figured out in my head, this is now the truth in my head, as to why all telephone numbers start with a 0. So think back to the old rotary phones. What is the furthest number away, or what is the number you have to spin the rotary thing around furthest to dial a number. It's 0. I'll just tell you that it's 0.
Was it 0?
Or was it 0? Or was it 9?
Or
I
did
don't
it
know.
stop? No, was it 0-1 or was it 9-0?
I think actually, see, now I've said that. I'm hang on. I'm going
Right, we need to research this.
rotary. I'm literally googling rotary phone.
Okay. As we're audio only, I'm going to describe a speedboat going past with the words sometime later.
Classic. No, it's 0. In every image that I'm looking at right now. Well, the last key is the hash key and the star key, or what the Americans would call pound key and the asterisk star key.
Well, we all called it pound key before it was. Oh no, was it pound or hash?
We've always called it hash.
Didn't we call it pound? I'm sure it's pound at one point, and then
Possibly.
it became a hashtag, so everybody thought of it as being hash.
No, we've always called it hash. As far as I remember, I've always called it hash. I've never called that key the pound key, which always just confused me when you ring up, someone, a service, and they'd say press the pound key, and I'm like, I don't have a pound key on this phone.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
What the hell was the A with the swirly bit around it before the internet?
I don't think it existed. I think that was
I'm
made
sure it
purely
did.
for the internet age.
No, that definitely existed for something. I remember seeing it.
Yeah, get ready with your sometime later transition.
Okay, sometime later, we find out that it's Ted and the Mandela effect.
Yeah,
It never existed.
It's called the commercial @
Yeah.
referred to as the @ address
Or
sign,
cat for short.
each @ well, it could be cat, yeah.
Mm.
Symbol is used as an accounting and invoicing abbreviation, meaning at a rate of, but it's now also more seen widely used in email addresses and social media handles. There you go.
There we go.
That's the @ symbol, because the hash symbol also has a proper name,
Mm-hmm.
and I cannot remember what it's called.
Noughts and crosses.
Yeah.
Or tic
The symbol originated from the abbreviation for pounds avoirdupois in Latin. And it's been pound. I guess pound is correct.
Okay.
So, anyway, I'm sure we've had that conversation as well. But
Hey, CJ, I've got a great question about telephone numbers, which I'm going to ask you after you've introduced and we've listened to the next track.
thanks, Ted. CJ here, everybody, and I'd like to introduce you to Montage Collective with the Girlfriend Experience, the Fused remix.
Something in me knew that I knew you.
to you.
Back to you for the news and weather.
Yeah, back to you, Ted. In the studio. You're literally in the studio, though, so I could literally go say, back to you in the studio.
Yeah. Back to me indeed. And that was indeed the montage collection with a fused remix of Girlfriend Experience.
Montage collective.
Is that not what I said?
You said collection.
Oh, well, I suppose a montage is a collection.
True, but they are a collective of montages.
But that would be like saying montage. And that would be crazy.
Is that like old age pensioner?
Oh, yes, old age pensioner.
Did we have that conversation?
We did have that conversation, and you know what? I even when I watched that back, Christmas special, folks. Was it the Christmas special?
I was going to say, was that the Christmas special, or
I-
was it
do you
the
know-
other show?
It might have been the other show. We'll plug them both later. But
I say yes, we have multiple shows, ladies
But-
and gentlemen.
indeed, but how that does need saying again, because it's certainly something that I'd never thought of before, which is the absolute the hell of being an old age pensioner and basically being called an old age pensioner 3 times because
Yeah.
it's old, of age, and a pensioner.
It's just like it's a triple threat beating down of the fact that you've lived a long life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just call you the same thing 3 times over in one easy acronym. OAP.
So anyway, I did promise before we listened to Girlfriend Experience that I would ask you a question about telephone numbers, and that is, apart from your own, how many telephone numbers do you A, remember,
Mm-hmm.
and B, what's the oldest, most obscure one that you remember?
Oh, right. Hang on then. So yes, I know my own. I know my mum's mobile number off the top of my head. I know my mum and stepdad's home telephone number off the top of my head.
Sure.
I also remember this one, and maybe I will look it up, or maybe you can look it up, or maybe someone a listener could look it up and post a comment and let me know. The number is 0181 811 8181. And it's from a TV show in I want to say early 90s. And it was like the phone-in number for competitions or just to get on the show or something. And I want to say Live and Kicking, but I might be completely wrong. I just remember the little jingle when watching Saturday morning TV as a kid. 0181 811 8181.
Yeah,
I don't remember what it's
it
for,
does-
but
it
that's
does
the
ring a
oldest
bell.
one. Yeah, that's the oldest one I remember.
It wasn't Jim or Fix It, was it?
I'm just Googling it now. It was Live and Kicking, yeah.
Right. Okay.
I couldn't let it go. I couldn't wait for someone to post a comment. I just couldn't let that one go. It was Live and Kicking, yeah.
Okay.
What else was there? Because there were loads of them like that on Saturday morning TV, where you literally had a number to call. But that's the one I really remember.
Yeah. Do you
So
remember
that'll be the oldest one. Oh, I also remember my nan's old telephone number as well.
Oh, yeah.
Before it changed to 01.
That's where I
So-
was going with this question, because bizarrely, the only one that I remember. I can remember the one at home, with with my parents.
Mhm.
But the other number that I remember and can still remember for no reason, because I don't need that information anymore, was my grandparents' number. And the
Okay.
reason that it's sort of burned into my skull because the way of answering the phone back in the day was to say the number.
Mhm.
So you'd answer the phone. Hello, Stockport 6256, and that's how you would talk.
That was so bizarre to me. Like I'd be around friends' houses or something, and the phone would ring, and they'd pick it up, and they'd literally be like, "Oh, 01234 567 8910."
Yep.
You're like, what?
But
Because if someone does that to me, I'm like, I know, I just called you.
That was the way that we did it. That was the way that everybody did it. You'd just pick the phone up and say Walmington-on-Sea 333.
Yeah.
But that was always interesting because I think that sort of dates thing as well. The whole idea of Walmington-on-Sea 333 or Stockport 5936.
Yeah.
It's the same principle, isn't it? It's that the likelihood is that you're speaking to somebody who's so local, they know where that town is, and therefore they already know the beginning part. And
Yep.
another thing that I've forgotten is that in those days, all you needed to do was ring 100
Yeah.
to get through to the operator.
Yeah.
And say, "Oh, hello, I'd like you to put me through to Walmington-on-Sea 333.
Yeah.
And they'd say, yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
And then they'd do it for you. And then they got rid of the operator.
They still had the reverse charge thing for a while. I don't know the number for that. Even though my parents accused me of using reverse charge when I was younger, I never used reverse charge because I never knew the number for it. And I was always in a position where if I needed to make a call, I had a phone that I could, and I knew their number off the top of my head.
Yeah.
So I never had to go to a payphone to dial reverse charge to tell them the number to call to do it that way. I know at least one of my brothers did, but I never did that. I was always in a position where I could use somebody's phone to make that call.
Yeah, I've done that. I mean, bearing in mind, I mean, I've got 10 years on you, so there's a lot more chance that there was somebody around with a mobile phone, if not a landline.
Yeah.
Whereas, yeah, certainly in payphones, there used to be a list of useful numbers. One of those being what to do if you want to do a reverse charges call.
Yeah.
Which, come to think of it, I think it might have just been ring the operator and tell them.
Yeah, I need to make a reverse charge call to Walmington-on-Sea 333.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember picking up the phone once and somebody going, will you accept a reverse charge call? And bearing in mind, I'm like, 10, 11, maybe 12 years old. And I'm like, a what? Like a reverse charge call. I was like, I don't really know what that is. And then I heard my brother, he'd piped up and he'd be like, it's me, accept the call. I'm like, okay. Classic. But yeah. The oldest number I remember will be my nan's old telephone number from before the 01 changeover. 081 473 1457. I have no idea if that number exists. It doesn't go to my nan, so I don't care.
Yeah.
That's all I'm worried about. I don't know where that number goes to. Someone call it.
That's a very good point.
The modern equivalent now will be 0208 473 1457. So maybe someone call it and just see what happens. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, I'm not exactly doxing my long dead grandparents by saying Stockport 5936. I mean, it doesn't make much of a difference, really, does it?
Exactly.
Yeah. There we go.
I'm sure after all this time, I don't know though. I don't know what the time limit is between a number kind of being expired or stop being in service before they then recycle it. Because it's like I've called because I've been curious, old mobile numbers that I've had, or old mobile numbers that I've remembered just to see if anyone picked, and it goes, the number you've called is not in service. And it's like, okay, well, but I don't know how long it is before they then recycle that number.
Do you know what? I've had my mobile number, and I probably should change it because probably too many people know it. But I've had my mobile number for a very long time. I mean, it must be 15, 20 years, maybe something like that.
Oh, wow.
Which is quite long. I don't know, maybe not quite that long, but a long time, at least a decade.
I haven't had mine that long. I got mine in 2016. My latest phone number.
Mind you, that's 8 year something, isn't it?
That's
a number of years.
Nearly 8 years.
I can't bother to work out.
No.
But where was I going? Oh yes, but I still, on occasion, if I'm asked my number, just if I'm having something that's flickering or not quite right with my brain at the time that they ask me, or if I'm distracted, or if I see or hear or think of a different number, I'll give them my previous one that I don't even know that I remember until I start saying it. Yeah. It's funny how the mind works.
Yeah. I was going to say, I remember an old number that's popped into my head. And again, somebody can ring it if they want, because I know the person that did have this number doesn't have it anymore. I know what their new number is. 0774 777 4764. It was just dead easy to remember. So I don't know who, again, audience, call it. Let me know.
Yeah.
Let me know in the comments. Peter's going to get random phone calls saying, someone on this podcast told us to call this number and report back as to who it is. Don't know why they couldn't do it themselves.
I
just thought poor old lady like, what the hell?
I thought of the premise of a great idea for a film. And it's one where there's a special phone, and I might cut this out.
Right.
So that I can develop and produce this film. But you heard it here first, and this is being recorded on the this is out on the 4th of January 2024. I said it first.
Well, 2nd of January.
You owe me if you you try and bring this out as a film. But the idea is that you have a special phone, and if you ring it, you can ring any number, past or present, and it'll get to the person that had that number, whether they're dead or alive.
Okay.
And then, built around that idea, that premise, you can then have, if somebody's given this phone, they can make 3 calls. Who do they call?
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Oh, because I was just thinking about the whole, again, when do numbers get recycled? So maybe as part of that, you'd have to say, okay, well, I want to dial 08147314457 circa 1990.
Yeah.
And you'd maybe just have to put a 4-digit year on the end, just so you have an idea of who it's actually, because again, if a number gets recycled and goes to somebody else, you're just going to get the new person, aren't you? Or maybe the latest
Yeah, that's
person.
true.
So yeah, you'd have to change that up slightly to make it work how I think you'd want it to work. But yeah, who would you call? Who are the 3 people you would call if you had that invention in your pocket?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it would be nice to be able to pick up the phone and use the numbers that I remember and ring my grandparents.
Okay.
Or I don't know. I mean, no, that's what I would like to do. I'm sure there are probably very many more adventurous things that people could do, such as cool famous personalities from a long time ago, or ring 911 on the 10th of September 2001 and say, listen, you might want to know about something that's going to happen tomorrow. So yeah, there's
yeah. You're talking about creating paradoxes, though.
Well, maybe I am.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe this is just a fictional premise.
Yeah, I feel like docs should always come in pairs anyway. But yeah, you've created a paradox by doing that. But we won't dive into that. The temporal mechanics are too much for my brain to handle at this time of day. But that's a good point, though. I mean, I guess again, if you've only got the numbers that are in your head, yeah, you're only going to end up calling people that you knew had those numbers anyway. I mean,
yeah,
it would be great to be able to dial my nan's old phone number and have her pick up the phone. That would be an incredibly emotional experience, I think.
It would.
Maybe too deep for the level on this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. No, that's where it was taking. That's where it was taking me as well. So I think probably this will be a really good time to break off for some music.
Yeah, good idea.
Absolutely.
You, Ted.
It's my turn. I'm going to introduce to you another track from the Cranberry Merchants, and this is called Nerve.
Nerve.
Off. And that was Nerve from the Cranberry Merchants. It sounded a bit like there was some bagpipes at the end of that. Don't know what you think of that.
I mean, it did remind me a little bit of Long Way to the Top, If You Want to Rock and Roll by AC/DC, which has bagpipes in it. I love that.
Mm.
Nothing wrong with bagpipes and music. It reminds me, and I'm pretty sure I've told this story before as well. It reminds me of when I was living with my parents, and you know, not that long ago, and people drive down the road with their music blaring out the car, and there was one guy who used to drive down the road in a Vauxhall Vectra blaring out bagpipe music, and I loved that man. I was like, that was amazing.
Could be the move.
Mm,
Could be the move.
could be.
So anyway, I think we can officially say now that we're back.
We're back.
We're back. We're doing it. We're doing the Tuesday show. If you're listening to this and you've got music that you want playing, if you want to be on the show, or anything like that, if you want to take part in some way or other, you've got something for us, please do get in touch. You can DM me on the socials at Ted James Media, or you can DM the show, which is at
Tuesday_podcast on X, or is it the Tuesday Show podcast on Instagram? You
It
can
is
also go
indeed.
there as well.
And also, you can check out CJ Brooks on whatever it's called.
Go check me out on YouTube. Ted doesn't want he's screwing this up, so go check me out on YouTube, CJ Brooks or at CJ Brooks POV. Like I said, I've got 2 channels. One's gaming, one's vlog. Go enjoy it if you want, or don't. I don't care.
And if you're going to do that and you're going to be on YouTube, you may as well check out, if you go to Ted James Media on YouTube, and you'll find the Ted James podcast.
And all the old episodes of The Tuesday Show.
Indeed.
Alternatively, just go visit our website, thetuesdayshow.co.uk.
Thank you for joining us, and wishing you all a very happy new year from myself and CJ. Sorry, I'm talking on your behalf there, but I'm sure you agree.
That's totally fine. I do agree. So, yeah, from me and from Ted, I'd just like to say
Goodbye.
And on that note, goodbye. Nothing came out there.
that's what she said.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Goodbye. If I shout into the microphone, that'll probably come through your end and on the recording or something. I don't know.